And can you go to the Free Toast host site, please?
Yes.
To last meeting's agenda.
Yes.
Fellow Toastmasters, this week I sent out an email asking people who hadn't reconciled their agendas to reconcile them. And it became evident that people didn't actually know what that meant. So there's two purposes of what I hope to do today. One is to show you how to reconcile the agenda, but it's not just the Toastmaster that needs to know this. I'm also going to cover how you can change something on the agenda and speak to you and your role if we have time. So first of all, does everyone know how to get to Free Toast Host? Jess? Okay.
I haven't tried that.
Right. So after you have logged in, you choose the agenda that you are going to be reconciling. Now, this is the one from the 12th of April. If James goes to the very bottom, oh, no, it doesn't. Sorry, I thought it actually said it down there, but it doesn't. Go up to the top again. So we've got all these people in on this agenda. Now, take today, for example. We've had a whole lot of changes to the original agenda. So you can't reconcile the agenda until you've made those changes. In addition, there are some roles, like the table topic speakers, that haven't been put on the agenda because we don't know who the table topic speakers are going to be. So it is your role as Toastmaster to make a note of all the changes that have been made. Now that may include a role not being filled at all, or it may mean there are more table topic speakers. So sometimes you're going to have to add to the agenda, sometimes you're going to have to remove from the agenda, sometimes you're just updating the name. In addition, if the speaker has not updated their details, you will need to update or get them to update that information as well. So when you are the Toastmaster and also in other roles, on the far right hand side, you'll see a pencil there. That is where you need to go. And this is also when you're the Toastmaster of the day, you will need to go to change things on the agenda as well. So if someone's name has to be changed, you would just go in and click on the person's name and change it to the correct person. Now, if it was a visitor, someone who's not a member, we have a thing called valued guest. So you just enter valued guest as the person who held that role. The other thing that can change is timing. You can click on the pencil beside and it will show you, click in there, the things that you can change in here as well. So for example, when you fill in the best role holder, you would put the person's name in the description here. Or if the time was wrong, you could change the time as well. So there are two places you have the time. One is where James just had the little thing. Yeah, so that's the duration of the time, and the other is for the lights, 30, 45, 60 seconds. Now, our agenda is meant to be for 2 hours. Occasionally, you'll have a case where our agenda goes over quite a bit more than 6 o'clock, so you would need to alter times on those sorts of days. So when you've made the change, you do need to say save and then close. Has anyone got a question so far?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why didn't we have this tutorial from the very beginning? I have never even been told that the Toastmaster I should do it, because in the other clubs, BB Education does everything. So your email was a surprise for me. And then when I went to do it, it was written, the agenda closed for the members.
Yeah, so this educational has been done before at this club, and there's been a whole lot of notes that were handed out as a handout as well. And I did raise it at an executive team meeting, so yeah, I don't know how it got missed. James?
So the speaker one on the screen,
Yep,
the duration is 5, 6, 7. Those are the lighting,
yes,
but the agenda item is 8 minutes.
yeah, because that allows for the 1 minute transition.
Correct.
So everyone is aware that between roles there's 1 minute as well.
For some of them, yeah.
Yeah, and if you look down the bottom here, there's one that says ignore this role agenda item in historical reports. So if a person is filling the role, like for example, the grammarian, at the very beginning, they introduce their role, and then at the bottom, they do a report, and they have, like the R counter is an example of that. It has R counter intro and then R counter report. You don't want your historical report to show that that person has been the R counter twice. They've only actually been the R counter once. So you ignore the agenda item on the report one.
Do you want to talk about these other ticks? Right?
Yeah, we can. So if you have that first one ticked, which it is there, that person who's holding that role can edit the agenda.
Sorry.
And the next one is if it's a speech, and that's important for later on. If someone forgets, hey, when did I do that speech? You can actually run a speech report later, and it will have been added to the speech report. But if that's not ticked, it won't. And then, of course, it needs to appear on the printed meeting agenda as well. So that should normally be ticked because we want it to show it on the agenda. So save and close out of there. Do you go to the table topic speakers? You'll need to go to the pencil again, James, first. Yeah, yeah, we're still, yeah. You go down to the table topic speakers. So in this case, someone has entered the speakers, but let's say that we only have 5 speakers, not 6 speakers. If you need to remove a role off the agenda, you click the rubbish bin to get rid of it. If you need to add one, you go to the very bottom. Now there are already set role names. So in the role agenda item, if you put in table topic speaker, and you can see we've got right down to 7, 8, 9. You can add a 7. You just click on the one that it comes up with. If you don't, you'll create a new role. So it automatically comes up with the timing on that. And then you need to save it. And it will add that to the agenda.
So we'll add it to the bottom.
Yep, I'm still, yeah, just save. You saved it, yep. Now, obviously it's not in the right place now, is it? So to move an agenda item, you use the arrow keys. Now in this case, we want to move it up to being after table topic speaker 6. So 7 comes after that. Now, if you close the agenda, another thing that you can do when you're the Toastmaster is if you go into the pencil and go to attendance. So say someone has verbally told you not coming to the meeting. You can go in here and move them off the agenda by hitting remove. And what it will do is it will actually remove them off their roles on the agenda as well. If you know that they confirm they're coming but don't have a role, you could tick the one in the middle, which is that they are coming. And anyone who's on that right-hand side will appear on the bottom of your agenda as in the apologies section. But if you haven't marked them as that, they won't appear in the apologies section. Any questions with that? So when you reconcile, what you are doing is you're updating who attended, you're adding in your table topic speakers, making any changes that were made to the agenda, and then you can reconcile. And you see down the bottom on the left-hand side, there's a tick box. You would tick that as showing as reconciled. Now, why do we do this? Does anyone know why we do this? James?
Accurate record keeping.
Yeah, so part of the role of a club secretary is to have accurate records. So in here, for example, when someone is inducted, it'll be shown on the agenda. When someone's won an award, it'll be shown on an agenda. When there is business, it'll show on the agenda. So in the business section, if a decision was made, it would actually be added to the description by me if there was a decision made. So the best role holder and the best, most enjoyable speaker are at the very bottom of the agenda, and they get updated after the meeting as well.
Zero.
Okay, so that's how you reconcile an agenda or change things if you're the Toastmaster. Any questions? Now, Teresa has a problem with doing it on her phone, and I don't know what the answer to that is. So I always do it on a computer. Pardon?
I just went on.
Yeah. So there are issues with doing it on a phone. So you're best to do it on a computer. You can't access some of the things. Thank you.